What's going on, y'all? It's Link here with Gamer Gear, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about a problem that I have, and then maybe some of you guys have it too. So I wanted to come out here with a solution, which is if you got yourself an awesome PlayStation 5 controller, right? And you're looking at yourself and you're like, man, the only thing that I wish you would have is something like those awesome back paddles that you can find on Xbox's Elite controller. But here's the thing, PlayStation has made their version, I guess, of an Elite controller, which is the DualSense Edge. But if you know anything about it, it only has 2 back buttons on it. Now for some people that's probably all right, so this won't even be an issue to you, but to me it was. I bought the thing, I returned it right away because I am to the point where I need the 4 back buttons. And you might be asking yourself, well, 2, 4, why? Well, here's the whole thing. When you're playing these games, you don't want to remove your fingers from the sticks, right? So the buttons you're gonna press the most are the face buttons. So I like to program all 4 of those face buttons to the back buttons, so that way I have no issues to ever play. So you're holding the controller, you're moving, and then all of a sudden you got to do one of these, right? So you're taking your finger off the movement. So a lot of people, what they do, they'll do kind of like a little claw configuration, right? Like something like that. So that way they could kind of still move and then press one of the buttons over here. But that's the beauty of having those 4 buttons in the back instead. Now, there are solutions out there. And as a matter of fact, I got one of them right over here. This is Scuff's controller, which does give you those 4 buttons on the back, which honestly is pretty awesome. But we are talking about, it's $200 for this controller. And what happens if you do have a controller that you really like? You like the style, you like how it looks, but you're like, man, I wish it had more functionality. Well, that's where this solution comes in, and that's modifying your controller in order to add those extra buttons. And mind you, there are tons of things you can do with mod your controllers, but I don't care about all that. I like the sleek approach. I like kind of the stealth and how it already looks. I just want the extra functionality that comes with it. Well, that's where this video, I'm gonna walk you through the steps how I took a regular controller and I added those beautiful 4 buttons on the back, so that way you can have that access to, while still keeping that beautiful controller that you wanted to purchase. You know, the looks, the feel of it, just adding that extra functionality to it. So I'm gonna give you all the steps, and mind you, while you do this actually comes from Extremerate, so you can go on their website, see how many different modifications they actually have. A lot of different things you can do, add LED lights or anything, but again, I like the sleekness of it. But this installation is also going to be a no soldering type of install, because if you want to map, let's say, the touchpad or the L3 and R3 buttons, well, you're gonna need to solder it if you want to have that functionality too. So for that, you guys can go over straight to their website. They'll tell you how to do it. Ain't nobody got time for soldering. I don't know how to do all that nonsense. Maybe one day I'll learn how to do it, but this is gonna be the quick and easy way in order to just configure those 4 buttons. And then of course, I'll show you how to use it at the end. So let's go. Now, to be clear, this install is going to be for newer type controllers that you're going to see that have this kind of indication on it. If you have a controller that does not have that, you're just going to have to go to Extremerate's website, and then they will walk you through the steps on how to get those 4 buttons for the back. So this installation is going to be for newer controllers. So now that we've seen everything that's in the box, let's go ahead and undo it and take our first tool out, which is going to be our prying tool. And we're going to start off with the shoulder buttons. Just put a little bit of pressure in there just to pop it right out. It should come out pretty clean for both sides. Then from there, we're going to pull out the plastic covering, which you're going to have to try to get that pick in there. Now, I definitely struggled a little bit with it just to get it initially. And to be honest, when you see me do it here, really once you get one side off, you could kind of just pull it almost all the way through. So I let this play at length just so you guys can see the way I was struggling with it. So right here is where I should have just really pulled it right out. But you see me kind of trying to unclick it everywhere instead. So just something to think about while you're doing your installation, but you do have to do it all the way around. And it's just little clips, nothing in particular. It's not gonna really break. It's a piece of plastic made to be flexible. And you're gonna see that it's as easy that even on the other side, I kind of picked at it with my nail and I was able to pull it off, and it just removes right around the controller. You see how it just snaps right off. Next, we're gonna have screws on the bottom of each side, and go ahead and just take those off. Just remember where you place them. Two little small silver screws, just put them off to the side. Next, we're going to have two on the top where the shoulder buttons were, and just take those off as well. Now this next step is going to be to take off the top shell. Well, actually the back part of the shell, we're going to be taking that off. And you kind of see these two clips which keep it together. So really we just got to pull it enough, not to the point, obviously you don't want to pull it so far that it breaks, but enough where it just loosens off of it. And again, this was another area I struggled just a little bit to kind of get right. But really, it's the kind of thing that once you get once, you absolutely get it. And all of this snaps as well too. So you're going to see that really what I'm trying to do here is get those clips unhooked. And I let this one play out too, so you guys can see that I was struggling a little bit with this part as well. But once you get your prying tool in there, things do start getting easier across the board, and it will slip off. Since I had enough give on the other side, now it's going to make everything much easier in order to take it off. But you can see my prying tool has seen the end of its days already. The tip is already worn out. And there it was. That was the final part that really let me pull it all off together. And it is the back shell that comes off. So it is splitting it apart. And you're going to notice how I end up splitting it apart right over here. There it is. So it kind of just circles in the front and it gets removed. Now you can put that to the side and we're going to work on the internals. So the first part is taking out this battery. The battery has nothing really holding it in place. So once you get to that little portion that connects, just slowly wiggle it off and it'll come right through. You don't want to just pull it straight off because you could damage the cable. So put that off to the side and then unscrew the little tray. So that way you can remove the tray and move that to the side as well. But first, there's the little screws that you're going to have to see on both sides. Knock those out real quick. Now you're going to see over here you have a microphone input, so you're going to like slowly just take it out. Don't pull it too much. You have to kind of unlatch it from where it is. And once you can get it unlatched, that's it. It's good to go. So pull it to the side, just slide it over, and now your tray can come right off with no issues. And we can move to our next part. So next is unhooking three cables. So you're gonna pull this tab off. You're gonna do it on the top side, the blue one. Just grab those little, like the little tab that's there, and just slide it right out. And then your final one, which is on the opposite side, pull that one off. So for this, you're going to use your thumbsticks and push into the thumbsticks, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to separate it out, so that way that green board, the board inside of it, we could just turn it over in itself. We're not going to pull it off all the way, because if you notice that the rumble motors are connected to it, so we're not trying to take it all the way off. We're just trying to get to the back side of it. So from here, you're going to pull out one of your other pieces, one of the bags. There's pieces here that we're not going to use because we're not soldering it, but what we do have to take is this little sticky part and remove this one tab that you guys see inside the interior, because we're going to place the sticky part inside of it to kind of extend that connection to push it out. So it is made to fit exactly on that little space. Put it in there. So once you got it in there, you're just going to reconnect that little tab that we just took off. So it's obviously going to be a little bit tighter because we have a new element in there, but we just want to get that in there very nice and quick. And once you're done, we're going to move to the next piece, which is another of the ribbons that we have here, where we're going to place right on top of this area. And there's stickies for you to do it. And what we want to do is we want to align it directly on the holes. Like, you'll notice that the holes are perfectly made to match with it. So we just got to put it right on top of that. Remember, once you use those holes for alignment, it'll look perfect on there. It'll look seamless. Now we could just put our triggers, our sticks right back through the hole, snap them in place. But we want to take out our little ribbons, the little ribbons that we pulled off. We want to make sure that they're over. So do it to the both side ones and do it to the mic one on the bottom. And once you can do that, snap it back into place, because now we have everything that we need from the back side. So from here, it is a matter of getting these ribbons attached once again. Now let's reattach the plate. And once the plate is on, we can put on our little mic once again. So for this, it could be a little bit tricky, but you got to take the topmost part and then just slide it right under the piece of plastic. And then from there, we can just go ahead and put our screw in to fasten that plate. We can reattach the battery. And once the battery is in place, you're going to see that that sticky is made to go right over the battery. Now it is made to be placed right on the edge, so you guys can just measure it right out and put it on there. So next we can put the 2 screws that we pulled off to the side. Let's attach them right back on. Now, that is all we have to do for the internals of the controller now. So we're going to deal with our new back piece. So get all your tools ready into place. Now, really, all of these screws we're not going to be using here. A lot of them are for replacement in case something got lost along the way. You do have some pieces there for you. But we're going to find these little rods first. Now you can stick your screwdriver in these holes because they are plastic, so you just want to give it a little bit of space to make sure it fits through. Then once we do that, we're going to go ahead and find this piece right over here. And you're going to notice that it has the letterings for what side is what. So for the left side, you'll see it says K1, and then you'll find the plastic that says K1 as well. And make sure the words are both up, both facing you, and then you know that you're putting it the right way. And then once you snap them in place, it's time to attach it to the back of our new paddle. So from here, just hold it in place, turn it around, and then you're going to pull one of the black screws and start using it to fasten it. Now with the black screws, keep in mind there are 2 of them that are smaller than the other ones. So make sure you're not pulling that one up, because we're going to use the smaller one of the black ones soon enough. And just make sure you fasten all 4 spaces, and then that should be it. It's ready to go. And now we're going to attach the exterior part of this. So find this little piece, kind of loop under there, and just get it attached into the 2 little hooks. Same with this piece. So this is not going to stay in any real kind of hard mechanical way. Like, it's going to be loose when you do this. So just make sure you kind of hold it together. Definitely it was a little harder for me, at least doing this just to show the camera, so that way it wouldn't fall off. But you could basically lay this down and try to do this, and then find this last little piece. It only fits one way, so you can't mess up the placement. And then once you find it, just put it off to the side, and we're gonna grab our controller, put the ribbon through the hole in the back, just as such. Now in reality, I could have gone ahead and just closed up the controller, so if you guys want to do that for a little more stability, that's fine. But once you get this going on, make sure you are connecting this piece exactly how I'm showing you right over here. So you're just gonna slide it in. It doesn't go kind of like all the way, just enough, but it does close back down. So that little black piece that I'm using to snap it down, that's what holds it into place. So keep in mind, it's a little black piece that you're just gonna have to lift to put in there. And then once you could apply that back piece in there, it's going to stay in place. Now, this is the part where you find the smaller ones, the smaller screws. Find them, and then you're going to use that to keep this piece in place. And remember, just do it on both sides. Now, this part is going to be a little bit tricky because of the way that it falls out. Again, the way I'm doing it probably wasn't the best. I should have clamped the outer shell to it, but you do have to kind of turn it upside down and snap it into place. So to snap it, you want to snap it from the bottom and then onto the top. So it just kind of goes right in place. It's a very clean kind of connect. And you see how here it just goes right into place. There's not too much pressure you have to put into it, but you'll notice now all the buttons are clicky and working how they should. So this is where I attach the outer shell. Again, you could have done it before, but now if you're doing it exactly how I'm showing it, you could do it right now as well. And for all this, you just gotta squeeze it together. Just squeeze it all around and it will snap into place. And we're almost at the home stretch. Now it is time to put our screws back. So we'll start with the top ones. And get those bottom ones done as well. Now, if you'll notice on this video, I do have the red grip version on the back, and on the other side of the video, you'll see that I have the black versions on. So this is kind of just showing you a little bit of colors of each, so you can make up your mind probably which configuration you'd like best if this is the controller you have. But now we'll put the edging plastic on, put it back in. It all snaps very easily into place. And that is almost it, y'all. We just have our shoulder buttons. So this one's a little finicky because you just have to make it feel like it falls into place. But once you do, it just goes straight down, and then you just push it in, and that is it. We have ourselves a completed modded controller. All buttons should be clicky. Now I'll show you guys how to go ahead and use it. Okay, so now that you know how to actually install it and put it all together, it is now time to just go over real quick how to use it, the simplicity of it all. So first of all, you gotta have your controller on for this, and then you're gonna notice that all the magic happens in the back with this middle button right over here. So you're gonna go ahead and press and hold that button down, and then you'll eventually see that it's gonna turn into a red light on the bottom. So it's actually on right now. It is very faint, but you can kind of see it. You can see the little glow right there, but you'll be able to see it when you look into it. All you have to do at this point now is when you have your controller, you're just going to go ahead and hold one of the back buttons and then one of the front buttons that you want it to be. So for me, I always have kind of this button as a natural jump button. So I'm gonna hold that one down, and then I'm gonna go ahead and press this button over here, the X button, to confirm, because that's the one I use the most. And then you'll see kind of a blinking light. You're gonna see kind of like a blinking light over here. Then you just repeat that process through all the different buttons that you're gonna have in the front, however way you do it. I mean, for me, this has always been, this is my X, this is my circle, this is my square, and then this is my triangle. But that's just me. You guys might want to do it a little bit differently, but that's kind of how it works for me. So I have that muscle memory across all the different games. I always have the four buttons in the back because that's just how I roll. And then when you are done, you have to go ahead and hold that button again. You just press and hold it until the light turns off on the back. You go ahead, you do that, and now your controller is gonna have that access, so you just have that pro feel, you know, especially when playing multiplayer games. But I'll tell you, one game I absolutely loved using it on was Returnal. Returnal, just having all your buttons mapped out while being able to move and aim. That's a game where you kind of, you know, those reflexes really matter right there. But that's all I got for you guys today. So thank you guys for watching this video. And again, if this is something that you enjoyed and it was helpful, you know, leave a like and possibly follow if you're new here. So thank you guys. My name is Link with Gamer Gear, and I'll see you guys on the next video.